Good morning. We are going to continue talking about nature today, but we're going to switch gears a little bit and pause on trees, although we'll be talking about trees more again later. And today we're going to be talking about water. Now, this seems fitting in one way because it's been really hot the past couple of days. So I've been spending a lot of time in the water myself and doing a lot of swimming. And I'm guessing that you guys have been spending some time swimming as well because it's some time in the water because it's been really hot. So that's one way water is nice, just being in it when it's hot out. So we're going to start with a small, very short meditation of sorts. So to get comfortable, make sure you're nice and comfortable and close your eyes. And think of something in your head. Think of an empty cup of water. And let your thoughts just take you on a journey. Imagine that you are far away. You're on a large, hot desert. All you can see in every direction is sand, hot desert sand. You must cross to the other side, but you are hot, very hot, too hot. And you're thirsty. You realize you have drunk all your water. You have none left. You will get more only when you finish crossing that long, hot desert. So you move on slowly, one step at a time, feeling hotter and drier and hotter and drier, until finally you reach the other side and you know there is water nearby. You are so thirsty. So now slowly open your eyes so you can drink your water. And here is the water you get. What do you think? Does it look appetizing? It's sort of hard. I don't know if you can see it very well in the video, but personally, I wouldn't. Oh, there you go. You can see some of the stuff in there. I wouldn't want to drink this. So imagine if that was the only water that was available to drink, and you're so thirsty and you want to drink it, but this is all you've got. What do? Do you drink it or not? What do you do? So for a lot of people, that's all that's the only water they have to drink. It looks something like that. We talked a bit when we talked about water before. We talked a little bit. I threw lots of statistics at you about water, and just to think a little bit more about that. So, a lot of the Earth's surface is 70% actually of the Earth's surface is covered with water, the oceans, right? But only 2.5% of that is fresh water, and only 1% of the water on this Earth is actually available for use because a lot of it is actually in the form of ice, as icebergs, or underground. So we only have access to all that water to 1% of it. 20% of the world's human population does not have safe drinking water. So they might have something like this or something that has bacteria in it. And that 20%, that's a fifth of the people on this earth. That's 1.1 billion people. So it's a problem, right? And remember we talked about water before. We talked about in particular in Africa and Asia, how young girls and women have to walk to get their water after often 6 miles a day. Imagine carrying more than 40 pounds of water 6 miles a day just in order to drink and to have water to drink. And if you're doing that, it's taking time. You can't go to school, you can't raise your family, you can't work, right? So it's a big problem now. The other reason this is timely for me, this lesson on water, is because something I've been thinking about, because I also alluded to last time in the lesson, I was going to be camping out for the summer and carrying my water. And here I am, for the most part, not inside at the moment, for the most part, I'm camping out this summer, and I do have a little electric cord running in, so I have a bit of electricity for my computer so I can work. But I don't have a hose going up there because it's a little too far away. So I have to carry all my water that I use. And I was very proud of myself. The first few days, I had a bit, one of those Coleman water coolers, and I used like a quarter of it the first day. And so the first few days, like, oh, I'm good. But then I started having my dog at the tent more and she needed water. I also have some snapdragons in a pot up there and an eggplant plant in a pot and those both need water. Those are getting all dry. Yesterday, I actually took the big Coleman thing and poured a bunch of the water into the eggplant because it was so hot out. It was drying out and I felt bad for my eggplant and I want to grow I want to grow my vegetables. So, I'm going through my water way more quickly. So now I'm at about like every other day, I have to carry this water up there in this big old cooler and it's heavy and certainly not 40 pounds worth that I'm carrying. And it's just for me, well, and sometimes my dog and the plants, but it's really making me think about my water use because every time I use a little bit, I know I'm going to have to carry more up there to replace it. So one thing I've been using is using my dirty dishwater to water the plants. But hopefully I don't mind the soap. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe an interesting tasting eggplant. Tastes like soap or dirty dishwater. All right, so another thing, think about how you use water and think about as a society, how we use water. We, in this country, we have it pretty good and we have good access to the water. We don't always use it so well. Think of water parks. Think about how much water a water park uses. It's crazy. The average water park uses 900,000 gallons of water in a day. And if they had to refill it every day, that would be 328.5 million gallons of water every day. But no water park actually consumes that much water. It costs them too much money. So, and they want to maximize their profit. So they are able to recycle their water a bit, but they can't have the same water just sitting there all summer because it would get really gross, even with the chlorine. And things fall in it and people are bringing things into it. So they can't just have to. So how do they do that? Where are they getting all their water? Well, they do many they all vary, of course, and many do reuse their water. It's a common practice. There's this one water park in Texas, I'm not going to say this right, but the Schlitterbahn Park, Galveston, Texas, that they recapture and filter and reuse 97% of the 3.5 million gallons of water that the park uses. So they're trying to reuse it. That 3% that they aren't reusing is mostly due to evaporation. So they do have to replace some of it because it just evaporates. Now, if you think about a water park in your head, and notice the elephants seem really tall, they sort of tower around the surrounding landscape. And of course, in some cases, it's because this water slides, so you have to start up high to slide down. But it's also designed in a way, most are designed in a way that one attraction can be higher than the other. So the water goes through one attraction, and as long as the next attraction is lower, no matter where it's in the park, using gravity, they can pipe that water using gravity to the next attraction and use that same water for multiple attractions. But some don't reuse water as well as others. And there's one in 2014, Castaway Cove in Wichita Falls, Texas, found itself hit with restrictions because of a drought. So what they did, they would truck in 9,000 gallons of water a day from another source. Isn't that crazy? So can't imagine that was very practical financially, but certainly environmentally, that's crazy. They were trucking in water. So we don't always use water as efficiently as we could in this country. So it's something to think about. So I am going to read you a story about water and about sharing. And this is called The Teachings of the Rain God, and it's from the Maasai culture of Kenya. One day a long time ago, the elephant acted like a bully. He challenged the rain god. You covered the earth in green, the elephant said, and I'll bet you feel pretty good about yourself. But guess what? If I tear up the grass and the trees and the bushes, the green will be all gone. What then? What then? Answered the rain god. I'll stop sending rain. No more green will grow, and you won't have anything to drink or eat. That's what. But a few words weren't going to stop the elephant. He ripped up all the trees, the bushes, and the grass with his trunk. All the green disappeared from earth. That made the rain god mad. He stopped the rain. Deserts began appearing everywhere. Soon the elephant was dying of hunger and thirst. He tried digging where the river used to be, but he didn't find a drop of water. So the elephant changed his tune. He praised the rain god and apologized. I'm sorry, the elephant said. I was too proud and I misbehaved, but now I've learned my lesson. I repent, so please make it rain. But the rain god said nothing. Every day the world dried up some more. The elephant knew the rooster was loud, so he asked the rooster to praise the rain god. After looking all over the place, the rooster found the rain god hidden behind a cloud. The rooster praised the rain god with such fine words that the rain god relented. A little rain fell and made a small pool very close to the elephant's home. The same day, the elephant decided to go into the woods and look for food. He ordered the tortoise to protect the pool while he was gone. Don't let anybody drink here, the elephant said. Tell them the water is mine and nobody else's. The tortoise tried to obey and turned some small animals away. But then the lion came, and the lion wasn't impressed. He growled at the tortoise and drank all he wanted. When the elephant returned, he grew very angry at the tortoise. Sir, said the tortoise, what could I do? The lion was big and had sharp claws, and all the other animals were mad at me, so I got out of the way. I'll show you mad, the elephant said. He raised one foot and stamped on the tortoise to crush her. But the tortoise was very strong, and the elephant did not kill her. But he flattened her out, and the tortoise has remained flat ever since. Suddenly the rain god spoke. His loud voice filled the sky, and he warned the animals not to follow the elephant's example. If you want more rain, don't be like the elephant, the rain god said. Don't challenge powerful gods or anything more powerful than you. Don't wreck the things you need. Don't make weaker animals protect your property, and don't punish animals that are trying to help you. Most of all, don't be too proud, and don't try to have everything to yourself. If you are lucky and have a lot, share it with others who need it. And that is the teachings of the rain god from the Maasai culture in Kenya. Now, think of a tortoise, right? Do you think this really explains why a tortoise is flat? So lots of different cultures have different ways of explaining why animals look the way they do. So the lion it was the lion that caused the supply of fresh water to disappear. And actually, it wasn't really the lion, it was more the elephant, right? And he challenged the rain god. It became a problem for not just him, but everybody else. So is that fair? I mean, think of the lesson of the story. So the rain god tells the animals to share water and other property with those who need it. And the elephant didn't do this. So, and because the elephant was hogging all the water and the lion drank all the water, it caused problems for everyone else. And even if that might not be fair, that's sort of what we're doing as humans, right? We think about pollution. If we pollute the water, none of the other animals could drink it, or they can't live in it. Think of the oceans. When we pollute the oceans and it affects the population of fish in the water, that in turn can affect us too, because then we don't have the fish to eat, right? Think of the story, remember trout are made of trees story, where we find out how the trout are really important to the trees, and the trees are important to the trout and everything in between. And then the tree in the ancient forest told that story too, of how everything is interconnected, all parts of this world. So us humans, the animals around us, the plants, and the very water that is around us. So it's important not to, if you hog it like the elephant did, then it's going to affect everything, or pollute it. It's going to affect everything around you, and that whole web can fall apart. Now, sharing of water and taking care of water can be a spiritual act of sorts. It is taking action with your faith, and it's sharing a connection, and it's a way of sharing compassion. And that's how we can act from our spirit. So that's sort of what it means when you say you should love your neighbor, right? So who is your neighbor? Might be the person living next door to you. But the story, it was all the animals who lived near each other. And for us, it could be someone who lives next door or someone who lives on the other side of the world, because we're all part of that one internet connected web of life. So to love your neighbor means to treat other people the way that you hope they will treat you. So that doesn't mean just the person next door, but it means people on the other side of the earth who might not have enough water. Now, we can't go shipping water across the ocean to those people, right? You can't just take all the water from the water park and say, hey, instead of using that water in the water park, ship it across the ocean to other places where they don't have enough clean water. Although there was that water park in Texas that actually was shipping in water, which is crazy to me. But it's not that simple. But what you can do, even if you can't ship water across the way, is think about ways that you can conserve the water that you use in your everyday life, and think about ways that even if you can't ship water out to these other places, how can we help these people that don't have water? How can we help them get water where they are so that they don't have to spend all that time carrying water, 40 pounds of water, 6 miles a day, in order to have clean water to drink? So I believe next week, I think we're going to continue talking about water a little bit more next time. And until then, have a great week. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Bye.